Hello and welcome to ICG Podcast Episode 3. I'm Abdul and with me today is Yashwanth.
Hey, all. Apologies for the second issue. Let's hope third time's a charm, and
Yeah, yeah,
let's have our podcast three. To
part 3.
episode podcast episode three, getting it right the third time. So,
Yeah,
hoping it goes good. Let's see.
yes, ICG Podcast Episode Take 3.
Take
Yeah,
three. Yes. Episode three, take
Take
three.
3.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Yashwanth, just keep an eye on that video and tell me if it gets stuck at any point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so then for the third time, I shall be saying this. The last day to claim all the PS Plus collection games is on Tuesday, May 9th. So if you do not have PlayStation Plus subscribed yet, kindly do so. Claim these games, and even if you are unsubscribed, you can subscribe on a later date, and then you can play those games whenever you want. So this is your last chance. Tuesday is the last day, so kindly collect it by then. And once again, Yashwant will talk about humanity.
Yes. Oh man, this dog loves me more. So the entity, the light that's guiding people in this game wants me to talk about this game third time. Yes. So I saw the trailer for Humanity, the PlayStation exclusive game for PlayStation Plus that focuses on dog leading. So it looks like a dog. Not sure it looks a glowing white dog and leading humans around some various obstacles in different levels. So maybe it's leading humanity to a better place. I don't know, but it looks kind of like Oddworld Soulstorm, where the protagonist helps his people to be free from that factory. So it looks a little bit like that. I'm not saying humans are stuck somewhere. I don't know. I just saw the trailer and it looks pretty fun. Absolutely.
Nice.
And it's releasing on May 16th, right? So yes,
Yep.
I'm gonna be getting my hands on it as on the first day itself. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a day one exclusive to PlayStation Plus Extra and Deluxe. So definitely give it a go. And
Absolutely.
we shall be right back.
What have been?
Okay, that's good. Just a second, just a second. Wire marting. Okay, you say something. Some issue with my earphones now. Damn it! Why does so many issues have to happen at once? Okay, okay, never mind. We'll continue. And we are back. Sorry for the wait. Now we shall continue. So, Tchia, which was launched as a day one exclusive to PlayStation Plus Extra and Deluxe, has reached 1 million players, and due to the success, the studio has decided to launch physical copies for both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on July 18th. And a Marvel Spider-Man 2 prequel comic has been announced to get fans more hyped up for the game. It will first be available only in the US on May 6th, with a global date for set for later time, and it's not yet been confirmed, but it will be available as a digital download in the Marvel Unlimited app. So, Yashwant, what can you tell us about Spider-Man Remastered?
Yes, I didn't play the Spider-Man remaster yet. No, I'm not talking on the game itself, but it's absolutely. I mean, it's obviously a super hit game, and I think people were very disappointed when it was bundled together. If they want to purchase a remastered version of the Spider-Man, it was just they had only one option, which was to buy the bundle along with Miles Morales, and it's an Ultimate Edition. So it was a bit of a letdown for most of the people, and I think I think Sony heard that and they were like, okay, maybe it makes sense to offer it as a standalone remastered game where you can purchase it without a part of any bundle. So yeah, it's a step in the right direction, and um, it's it's quite an extraordinary game. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bought it. I must say, I enjoyed it more than Miles Morales.
Ah, that's awesome.
Anyways,
Yeah.
it's quite longer too because after playing that, I felt like Miles Morales was more like a DLC. So
Ah,
yeah,
okay. I heard many people say that Miles Morales felt like just a DLC, like a teaser to what's capable of their new development, I suppose. So
uh
it just
yeah,
felt like a showcase of Spider-Man 2.
yeah. And the upgrade cost standalone game cost 4,000 rupees on the PSN store, and you can if you have the PS4 version of the Spider-Man game in any of the editions, then you can upgrade to Spider-Man Remastered for $10, or you can use the old method of upgrading through Miles Morales Ultimate Edition. You have to press R1 in the in-game menu, and you will be able to purchase Spider-Man Remastered for 1,000 rupees. Now we shall quickly move on to Xbox. Starting off with the games that will be leaving Xbox on May 15th. It will be My Friend Pedro, Before We Leave. So remember to play that game before it leaves because the name itself is
Yeah,
before.
FIFA failure.
Yeah. Hearts of Iron 4 Citadel, sorry, Cadel Edition. Cadel or Citadel? I think it's Cadel.
Carol, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Umerangi Generation Special Edition. And Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair Anniversary Edition. Man, these games themselves are saying goodbye. Okay.
Goodbye. Yeah, I think two games are like, yeah, we are done. Thank you very much. We are
Yeah.
part of Game Pass. Now we need to have our own identity.
Yeah. Danganronpa, I sort of played it, and I must say, it's not for everyone. Um,
Okay.
if you like some dialogues in games, then perhaps you can try it out. But nah. Anyways, Obsidian has announced another update for Grounded, and it is available now for download. So those of you who do have the game downloaded and installed, the new update shall be up. It contains a new boss called the Infected Brood Mother, and it has a full equipment set that is related to the Infected Brood Mother. There shall be new buildings, a new environment, and much, much more. Now we'll come to the very controversial topic regarding Redfall, and I feel like this game is quite a MVP because it's been mentioned on all three episodes of our podcast so far. And
Yes.
first, people were going very angry
Crazy
against the
for this
fact
game.
that,
No, I think
yeah,
it was the first impression was, I mean, before it was launched, everybody was eagerly waiting for this to
mm,
be a huge success for Xbox. And I think the only success truly that Xbox had in this generation that's worth noting is Hi-Fi Rush, right? That's the
Ah,
only
man,
game. Every other game was reserved. Basically, not up
exclusiveness.
to the mark Xbox have hoped for, I suppose, and the other controversies or the lack of the investment and the lack of what do you say passion into the game. Other than Hi-Fi Rush, I basically don't remember any other game that launched as an Xbox exclusive or initial Xbox. But yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, and also the thing that made Hi-Fi Rush even more special was that it was a sudden shadow drop after the what do you say presentation. They're like the game will be available a few hours after the presentation is over, and that got people pretty hyped up for it. So yeah, Hi-Fi Rush was awesome. But then we have to come back to Redfall and the issues that it had to go through. Right now, the main issue that is plaguing everyone is that it's limited to 30 FPS, even if it's 4K or 1440p. There is no performance mode yet. They say it will be available on a later date, but there's no confirmation yet. And what's making more, what's making people even more angry is the fact that all the demos for the game that was showcased in the events before were all run on a PC with a 4090 graphics card,
okay.
and that just made people even more angry. And the people who have played it, they've criticized the graphics, stating that games that were older than this had better graphics and explosions and whatnot, and the story was not interesting and stuff. But finally, even Phil Spencer had to come in and talk about this. And
I mean, he did say that Microsoft obviously will not invest millions of dollars on a game that they know is not going to be a success. I Nobody makes games if they think that it's going to be a loss for the studio, right? I think it's
mhm,
just the way that what Microsoft has been focusing. They have been focusing on acquisitions rather than maybe focusing on developing in studio first party games, focusing on maybe encouraging other teams in Xbox studios as well to listen to them, to maybe um, take their existing developers or the team to basically they understand if they have any good unique concepts. I think the Microsoft complete focus was on acquisitions and just dominating the market. Whatever fastest way, I think whatever fastest and easiest way for them, I think that's what they chose. And as soon as the acquisition was not allowed by the European agency, I think it just fell through. They just realized that their entire focus has been just for acquisitions. They did not focus on a quality game development, on a quality story. And the Redfall failing was one example, I suppose. You can just take it as an example, basically. So yeah, everything they have worked for, honestly, like Halo or Redfall, it just fell through, man. Yeah.
it's unfortunate. And of course, there are people on two sides of the debate. Some people are like, many developers put in plenty of effort and time to make this game for you guys, so you should be happy about that. At the same time, there are some people who are like, well, if the developers have put in so much of effort, what were the people at QA doing? What are the executives doing? They would have actually had some time with the game, couldn't they have pointed it out if there were any issues? But apparently, none of them seem to have done so. So,
I mean, that's how the game development life cycle has been recently, right? Studios want to just keep pushing the new games as soon as possible without proper, um, without the entire game being absolutely ready to play. Even they are cutting down portions of the game so that they can push it as early as possible.
mhm.
Uh, it's I think the entire industry is just trying to deploy, I mean, trying to deliver more and more exclusive games and just forgetting about the quality of what they are really delivering.
Yeah, a good example are the current PC ports of this year's massive AAA games. All of them have been
Absolutely.
horrible. Oh, and we have a question from our comments. Pankaj has asked if the Jedi Survivor PS5 performance has been fixed. Quite frankly speaking, I have never seen any performance issues with it, unless you're not
Yeah,
playing on PS5.
there was performance issue for PC, but I I I didn't even come across any tweet. I mean, all right, the Rishi Alwani was also talking that it kept constantly what you say switching off. The game was shutting down. I think that was one issue I heard on PS5 related to Jedi Survivors.
Mhm.
The other game was like there were few bugs, but it was nothing of major performance issue. Few people experienced the game shut off and few bugs here and there. Uh, but there was, I think, but there was a recently a patch, if I'm not wrong.
Yes,
I saw
yes.
a tweet from the EA, and maybe that might have fixed it.
Yeah, possible. I mean, the only issue that I've seen is that apparently there's one side quest that is bugged, which is preventing some people from getting platinum. So, other than that, performance is not a major issue as far as I
On
see
PS5.
on
Yeah.
PS5. Sorry if I don't know about the Xbox side of it because I haven't seen many people play it on that. Just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll move on to the final segment of our podcast, which shall be our
I think,
discussions.
yeah, discussions. We can kick off with PS5 Pro.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
I
sure.
think when we talk about PS5 Pro, it piques a lot of people's interest, and it doesn't. Some people just doesn't care about it. Some people are like, yeah, if it's going to happen in an year, I'm gonna wait for PS5 Pro. It's not gonna happen in a year, even though it's so Insider Gaming. They are pretty confident that PS5 Pro is going to be released in end of December 2024 for the holidays. So they also said that the first party studios are going to receive the development kits in a month or so, 40, 50 days or something. And the third party developers would get the development kit by end of this year. So if they're targeting for 2024, I think they will have enough time to test it and then have it production ready. Apart from that, this year, September 2023, there's going to be this dedicated removable disk drive version of PS5.
Mhm.
I think the reason that they went with this maybe to cost optimization, like they had with the initial standard PS5 console. There used to be bigger heatsink. Now it's even though it's smaller, the performance is not impacted.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Yeah, so maybe it's cost cutting. Maybe it's they have a better manufacturing process, I suppose. So maybe new hardware. I'm not sure, but the only difference is that it's gonna support the detachable disk drive. So I think the other advantage is they can keep using these faceplates, right? That they
Yeah.
released. If they release a new PlayStation 5 model, the entire production ones that they created with the new faceplates is
Yeah.
gonna be obsolete. So that's
Yeah.
why I think they just made these small changes to not have that product useless in
Mhm.
just 2 years of its launch. Not even 2 years, I suppose. It's just been 1 year, I suppose. Like faceplates released.
Yeah. Faceplates have only been a year or so.
Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, I
And
think so. Yeah, December 2024, PS5 Pro, and India. I think 6 more months after that.
mm, yeah, well, that would be interesting. Oh, look, Pankaj has another
I don't.
question. Yeah,
Sorry,
just a
go ahead.
second.
Go ahead.
Pankaj has asked, should game studios be moved from last generation since it's impacting the current generation? Um,
Uh,
I
that's a
mean,
longer discussion, Pankaj. The studio's focus is to make money,
yeah,
whatever means it is.
and
If they're catering for a particular generation, they are missing out an entire other generation where they can make money. They are not going to support PS3 or other Xbox 360 or something. Those they won't release for that. But there is millions of PS4s and millions of Xbox One consoles. If they do not cater for that, they are just going to lose millions of dollars as well on the game. And so they are going to spend millions of dollars in the development of the game.
yeah,
If there's a way to make money, the studios, the console, Sony or even Microsoft will want to make that money. That's coming as enthusiasts or gamers. We want to experience a game that's not held back by the previous console. I mean, that's fair for people who own latest gen console, but there are people who are still holding on to their PS4 and Xbox One. So
mhm,
they feel like maybe they can shift to new gen model with PS5 Pro or something that's going to release in 2 years or something. So it's a very tricky question, right? You have to navigate it without angering the new customers and then without forgetting about your pre existing customers, right? So
yeah.
what do you think, Bill, Abdul?
The thing is that only recently the sales have been increasing for PS5. Well, for Xbox Series X and S, it's not that much because, anyways, Microsoft is not focusing too much on console hardware. But yeah, the sale is decent. But neither of those consoles have reached the amount of units that have been sold for the PS4 and as well as the Xbox One series. So, say like there are around 100 million PS4s, and right now there's maybe 30, 40 million PS5s. There's an entire 60 million more people where Sony and Microsoft could get money from. So, if they stop making games for PS4, they're losing out the money they can get from 60 million people. So, obviously, for now, till the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S catch up to an even amount of sales and consoles, I think they might keep producing last generation games. But yeah, some developers have stopped support for PS4 and Xbox One. But for everyone to completely stop and focus only on PS5 and the new Xbox Series X and S, they need to have at least the same number or at least close to the amount of previous generation consoles that should be there. And I hope that answered your question. Now
It's
we,
also about the
yeah,
developers, right? The team who is focusing on the current gen or the previous gen. I think it's not going to be. It's going to take the workforce capacity on who is going to focus on which and dividing the workforce to support to cater for both the generations if they want to deliver it at the same time, the same launch window as well, right? So it's a tricky question as you asked, and there's no single answer. It's if a studio wants to make money, they're gonna support both generation of consoles.
yeah. And of course, if you think that the PS5 still does not have any games that utilize its full power, well, if you have a PS5, be happy with it for now because in the future you might get games like that. So,
What about Spider-Man 2? Is it going to be just PS5 only or PS4 as well?
as far as I've seen, I think it's going to be a PS5 only exclusive. So, that might be able to take full advantage of the PS5.
Full advantage of PS5. Yeah,
So,
maybe Wolverine as well.
yeah, even Wolverine, yeah, that's also expected. So, yeah, few games coming forward, they might take full advantage of it. So, look forward to that. Anyways, now moving on to the questions that a person on our Discord has asked. He has asked me, well, it's actually he wants to know the opinion of both me and Yashwant. So Yashwant, you also listen to this question properly.
Absolutely.
So the question is, do you think that the rise in the ease of game development, thanks to engines such as Unity and Godot, will improve the quality of indie games, or will it lead to the incompetence in gaming as a whole?
Hmm. I mean, yes, it's gonna be the accessibility and the ease of working on these tools have been increased a lot, considerably a lot. I have experience of developing few environments in my university. It was nothing, just for some project work, just to recreate a single room that looks like a game room, I suppose. So it was just to develop that room. We spent more than 2 months, and it was still animated look, and it was not up to the anywhere close to what a AAA game is capable these days. So I'm hoping that I'm 100% sure that it's better than that, and it's always with the as technology keeps growing, you don't have to struggle that much to get to the same position, right? You have to put in hours in previous years, but
Mhm.
you can achieve that pretty quickly. I think advancement in technology is always helpful as long as you have that passion to develop. It doesn't mean that okay, the tools are here, you can develop a game in 1 year and push it to and then publish it. It doesn't mean that they did not develop the game with passion and with heart. So the developers want the best to provide you. It doesn't matter if it's going to take 2 years or 1 year. Coming to the developers, I'm not talking about the studio or the money making process of it. The developers always wants what is the best version of the game that they want you to experience. If it can be achieved in 1 year, absolutely, why not? Why wait? Why just think that okay, it's been developed so fast, it must not be good? That's not a right way of looking at it.
Exactly. Well, from my point of view, what I can say is, first and foremost, I'm not a game developer, so I don't know any of this. All I can say is that I've only played games that are running on these engines. But then again, it comes down to the developer and what sort of effort they put in and how well versed they are in these engines. So, who knows? They can obviously try and make better games. And just because it can be faster and easier to use doesn't necessarily mean that it will make games worse.
Yeah, for
Because,
example, right, you can take example as Insomnia Games and From Software.
mm,
These two publishers, man, they're consistently delivering absolutely mind-blowing games and without any compromise on most of the part, right? So I think majority, 90% of their audience are absolutely happy on the what the game looks like in its only intended platform, I suppose. But yeah, it's they are very good. They are developed in very short ranges. It's not like they are taking 5 years or 10 years to develop any game, but they are very absolutely uh, great games, even if they are developed in short span.
yep. So, all you can hope for is developers take their time and make good games. So, that is your question asked. I hope you're satisfied with that, Nirvin. Now, well, looks like Pankaj has also came up with another question. He says that Xbox has lost the war against Sony for the current generation. What are your thoughts, guys? Um, well, I'll go ahead and say it first, but I'm not going to comment on that. I might start a console war, so I'm skipping that question. What about you, Yashwant?
What do you, basically whatever console you have, just support for that, man. It doesn't matter if you have an Xbox, support for Xbox. If you have a PlayStation, support for PlayStation. If you have both, you are luckiest. You can enjoy from both the worlds. So it doesn't have to be a war. It doesn't have to be win or loss. As long as you're happy with the games that are delivered, your personal preference, it's a win for you. It doesn't matter if Microsoft wins or Sony wins, Microsoft loses or Sony loses. As long as you win, that's what it matters.
Exactly, yeah.
You
I
can
have
quote me
both.
on this. It's a very good quote.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And having both, I can say that I'm not feeling disappointed or happy about the situation. Sony is doing good with their first party titles and everything. Great. I'm playing plenty of indie games on Xbox Game Pass. That's also great. So, nothing to complain
Absolutely.
from my side. So, unless you are fully dedicated to one platform, I don't know. And even if you are, like, say, part of PlayStation, why should you worry about Xbox? You're on PlayStation. And if you're
Yeah.
part of Xbox, well, let's just keep our hopes up. That's all I can say. Enjoy what's there with Game Pass now and keep hoping that Microsoft will go, take better decisions down the road. And most important thing is hopefully they'll get this Activision deal done with as soon as possible. So yeah, thank you for that question once again. Now then, the next question is there is the fact that many people are unaware about the fact that pseudo gambling apps like Dream 11 and others are being called as online games, especially by middle aged people and people above that age. So, huh, is my question. So, Yashwan, what do you think about that?
Ah, oh man, it's a political question, right? I mean, I'll just answer the gaming aspect of it. I do not want to get into any the political aspect of that pseudo gambling apps. I mean, if you're putting money, man, if you're putting money to guess what's gonna happen,
Mhm.
that's basically gambling. However you quote it, however you name it, whatever you change it, whatever you call it, you are putting your own money and guessing what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
So that's gambling. That's gambling definition. Doesn't matter what everyone thinks. I mean, it's uh, it's your choice, man. It's your money.
mhm.
Whatever you want to do, you do it. It's um, that's all I want to say. I don't want to get on more on pseudo gambling. What I'll say is one thing. One thing I'll say is this is causing a very bad name for other game studios, publishers, developers who genuinely care about games as an industry and um, quote unquote calling these gam- pseudo gambling apps as gaming apps. It's not good for the gaming community as a whole.
Exactly.
You don't see I don't think so because you I don't think, but I'm just thinking it's basically you don't see these kind of ads popping up in national television in other countries. These
Exactly.
if you have any match, right? Okay, a good example I want to tell is last year during IPL we had cryptocurrency ads. Every single ad was about cryptocurrency ad, Coinbase, some different other crypto platform, crypto exchange platforms. They had ads. Just they were like just put 100 rupees, 200 rupees. What are you gonna lose? But where are those advertisements now? I don't see a single crypto advertisement in this IPL ad. So
Exactly.
it's basically whatever you're ready to lose, only invest that.
Exactly. I just want to say to all the people who are middle aged and above, kindly do not associate those kinds of apps as online gaming. If
No,
you,
never, please. Yeah,
yeah, please. The state of mobile games at the moment is horrible enough as it is. The last thing we need is for them to be compared to gambling apps such as these. So no, they are not considered online games, man. They just can't. So sorry about
that's
that.
it. Yeah.
The next one is what do we think about the rise of games as a service? That's an interesting one. Yeah, recently plenty of game developers have been releasing games that are in it for the long run. and they're considered as games as a service. So you have the base game, and every month or so they keep adding new content to the game, and you can unlock stuff as you play.
How is it
Or,
different from a live service game?
good
Or
question.
is it, or are they, are both of them the same?
I think they're more or less the same because just like how you have battle passes for Call of Duty and whatnot, and how you have to buy skins and everything using V Bucks for Fortnite. Same as stuff like this for games like these. Like, believe it or not, even Gran Turismo 7 is a games as a service. There
Ah,
is,
yes.
it's supposed to be a single player game, but they made it a games as a service. So every month they update the game with new cars, a few new races, and new tracks, and those are free. But then again, you have to put in your time in the game to get the credits to buy those cars and all of that. Or of course, there's the option of spending real money to buy those credits and then use it to buy their cars. So that's the concept behind games as a service, because in the long run, if you cannot, you're not a hardcore player, you're just a casual player, and you want to catch up with the people who've put in lots of time, but you don't have enough time to do so, you can spend real money, unlock all that stuff, and be in the same level as them. So, gaming as a service, it prolongs the life of a game, but I don't know if it's good or bad, depending on how the developers make it. What do you
I
think,
mean,
Yashwant?
there's a fine line of difference, I suppose, that game as a service games and live service games have to put out, right? If they have no difference, basically, if they are released as it's as a game as a service itself from the get go, from the launch itself, it's I don't I don't think you can call it as a standalone game. You can just call it as a live service game. But if let's take for an example of movies and series which I'm more familiar with. So, the Stranger Things season one was meant to be something 1 or 2 seasons, and then closing the story, I suppose. And it became one night hit, like a huge success. Now it is prolonged to 5 seasons. I don't know how many seasons are there. So I think it comes the same with any other entertainment as well, right? So if a game has been hugely successful, they want to use that IP, they want to use that brand name, they want to use that game image, that um, the visibility, the publicity that the game has, and it's they are going to keep releasing. And yeah, I don't think, as long as if it's free, as long as it's free, and as long as it's not difficult to achieve, and there's only one way to unlock the new content, I don't see an issue. If they are going to put money behind it, then it's a different case.
Right, right. Well, we only have two questions left. Right then, so the second last question is how to select games from a variety of choices and genres. Mm, Yashwant, why don't you start off?
Oh man. Okay. So the easiest I didn't like first person shooter, man. That's just not for me, I suppose. I and the competitive multiplayer games is not for me, I suppose. It's I'm a gamer for having fun. That's it. I'm not some hardcore gamer who sits at the console and plays hours and hours. It's just a means of an escape for me. In that case, I do not. I mean, if I want to play a game, I don't even my last preference, or I don't even prefer, is first party shooter games, and there's competitive multiplayer games. All I go for is so I my personal preference is a linear progression game, and as long as I have good story, I don't care about what genre it is. I love all the games that are linear progression games. even horror. It can be a side-scrolling game. It can be a fun little game as Overcooked. So it doesn't matter what genre it is. If I can have fun with it, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, so selecting games from their genre, it's basically you have to just try them out,
Exactly.
give a go at every genre there is. Uh, try is I think the simplest one to try out is racing. Because I'm a big racing fan, so try out racing. Not for you, then try indie games. There are plenty of them. And of course, within indies itself, there are many types of indies. But yeah, you can give try to indies, and if you've, I think if you've been a PC player for the early part of your gaming life, then you switch to console. Then I'm sure you might still have an, like a lineage towards first-person shooter games or stuff like that. So you can still stick with those. But if you're not a competitive type, you can always try some strategy games or
Absolutely.
adventure games or RPGs, many of them. And of course, who better to ask than your own friends who also play games? You can always visit a friend, sit with them, play some games, see if you like it, and then just move on from there. And then that one game you'll start another and another, and before you know it, you would have found your favorite genre to play, and or maybe even your favorite
Absolutely.
series. So
Oh,
best advice is
what's
just
your favorite genre, Abdul?
like I said, it's racing, man. All racing.
It's basic. Absolutely, it's right. So dumb to ask. Okay,
Yeah,
for
it's
me, I haven't played much games. I can actually count the games I completed on my fingertips up to now.
uh,
So I did not experiment on much of these genre games, but think action games, good storytelling games. So I played Naughty Dog's Last of Us Part One, Uncharted 1, 2, 3, and then Limbo, side-scrolling game, and then Stray and Dark Souls 3. So these are the games that I completed in last 2 years. That's it. I know it's very less, but um, the most fun, absolutely, the most fun I had was The Last of Us. Man, I don't know. I just connected with that story. It was realistic. It was grounded a little bit, even for a game. So yeah, I loved that game, and the next game for me is Dark Souls. I couldn't get past the first boss for 30 or 40 tries. I'm not even kidding. I tried 30 or 40 times. I tried
it's
different
hard.
classes. I didn't get. I tried as a magic. People kept saying magic is the easiest one in this Souls game. No, it's not. It's up to your style of choice. I tried magic for like 10 tries and I didn't clear it. It just didn't make any sense. I tried dexterity, it didn't make any sense. And then I went strength and I cleared it in 2 tries. So I stuck with strength will. I think I just want enough energy. I don't want to move around here and there. Maybe I just boink and then the enemy should be out.
Bonk.
It was. So yeah, my first game is The Last of Us, and my second favorite game is Dark Souls 3 right now.
Nice. What about Enter the Gungeon? I heard you play that as well.
Oh my God, I hate that game right now. I enjoyed. I mean, I love that game, and then I hate that game as well. It's absolutely a chaotic, frustrating game. Enter the Gungeon. Oh God, it's an indie game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, for first 3 levels, you're absolutely gonna love it. And the fourth level, I don't know, maybe I'm not as hardcore gamer as I told, right? So there are bullets everywhere, man. I'm not even kidding. Returnal is a baby compared to Enter the Gungeon. There are bullets coming from every single direction, man. So at some level, at level 4 or layer 4, it's a little bit like Returnal itself, right? You have biomes, and
Biomes.
in
Yeah.
Enter the Gungeon, you have layers. You one layer, second layer, third layer. You go more deep. So it's it. So if you lose, right, you have to start from the first. I'm not even kidding. You have to start from the entire first, and it's a roguelike game. So
Roguelike.
and it's exactly like Returnal, but more like severity. What to say, turned up to 11.
Mhm.
It's super difficult. If you loved Returnal, I highly suggest play Enter the Gungeon. I think it was available for free from PlayStation Plus 6 months or 7 months back. And if you can still play that game, I would highly suggest going through that. It's a unique experience. I hated it so much. I uninstalled it and then I installed it again. I played it again. I lost and I completely stopped playing that. It's an amazing game. Maybe I'll get to it into some time when I have a lot of confidence in clearing that level. But it's it's truly I love hate relationship kind of game.
Yeah, I think when you told me you were playing the game, you must have been within the first three levels. Otherwise, you
Yeah,
wouldn't have been to
absolutely.
continue playing that. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. It's a super difficult, guys. I mean, I'm not kidding. Dark Souls does not hold a candle to that Enter the Gungeon.
Okay, Yashwant's famous words for that. Okay, Souls
Yeah.
fans, do not be offended. Try giving Enter
Oh,
the
please
Gungeon a
no.
try.
Yeah, no. No offense to Souls fans. Listen to me. I love Dark Souls 3. My
Yeah.
second favorite game is Dark Souls 3. But I can still clear it. There's a pattern in Dark Souls 3, right? It's basically you understand the enemy attack pattern and you develop and you attack it. And Enter the Gungeon, it's a rogue like you don't know where the bullet is coming from. There you cannot identify the patterns. You just have to it's a luck. You're gonna keep thousands and thousands of hours and then be skilled at it. But it's really an amazing game, and I hate it.
Hmm, nice. Well, then, moving on to the last question of the day: how to manage a backlog with 40 plus games?
Again, I'm not I'm not a good person for this as well. I literally have entire PlayStation 4 catalog. I'm not PS5 is my first PlayStation 5 console, man. My previous gaming experience was Clash of Clans, Mini Militia,
Mm,
8 Pool, I suppose. But yeah, I was a smartphone gamer. It was a smartphone player. So it was a small games. PS5 is my first what do you say an actual enter into the gaming world, and I basically have entire PlayStation 4 catalog, and because of the deluxe, I can play PS1 and PS2 and PS3 games as well, right? So I can stream those games, but I have hundreds of games, man. I don't have 40 plus. I have hundreds of place games in my backlog. I just added them. I keep the first thing I do every month is add those free games into my library, and then I forget about them.
yeah,
I
I do the same thing.
I don't know, maybe very long. I don't want to say the actual date, but it's been very long since I played a game on my PS5, and my last game was Dark Souls 3. I hope I'll find some time to again switch on my PS5 and play. But I think one thing I'll tell is if you're worried about backlog, don't worry about completing a game. That's what I had initially. My initial what do you say? The energy that I had was to platinum every single game that I played, and I did that for first 4 games. I platinum four games, the first 4 games which I played, five games which I played, but it's not worth it, man. If it's gonna be a chore, or if it's gonna be a rule that is keeping you away from enjoying a game, don't 100% it. Don't worry about completing a game. Just play the game, enjoy it. If you stop having fun, stop it, start a new game. That's what I'll say.
Very good point. A very good point. And also, that is also one point that I wanted to say. If you plan on clearing up backlogs, never try going for 100% completion or platinum because that'll
Absolutely.
just take up way more of your time. So, other than that, the other thing I want to say is if you have some amount of money you get to buy new games, kindly keep depositing it in your bank account. Do not look back at that money, because if you do, you'll keep buying new games. You'll keep buying new
Oh man.
games. Okay,
Yes,
and
yes.
avoid looking at any sort of sale online, because that will tempt you even more. So if anyone has any deals or anything going on, just stay away from the internet for a day. Okay.
If you're worried about your financial stability and backlogs, then yes. But
Yeah.
yes, it's.
First.
I mean, as long as you want to have fun, man. As long as you want to
Yeah.
enjoy every game, it's
Yeah.
up to you. Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, you have to remember strict rule about clearing backlogs. Do not keep adding new games to your backlog, because you'll never complete with the game.
That's like you can tell that it's very obvious. I mean, it just makes sense. Don't buy to have backlog, but I
It's
mean, he
hard.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
asking that question. He wouldn't be asking that question if he can if the player or gamer can control the urge to buy new games. So
Yeah.
it's a very difficult situation to be, but I don't think it's that easy to get rid of.
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable because games are pretty expensive, not easy to come by. But considering the amount of occasions that we have where they're giving discounts and all that sort of stuff on games, I mean, I myself am tempted. I don't have money, but still, I go and see the deals, and suddenly they're like 75% off. I'm like, oh, okay, 4,000 rupees game available only for 800 rupees. I'm like, what?
Yes.
I should get that game, and I wouldn't be even interested
I'm
to play that
I'm
game.
I'm I guilty as charged as well, right? I bought too many first party PlayStation games. I have physical games. I didn't even remove the seal, man, from those
Same, yeah,
discs yet. I just bought them because they were available for very cheap, and as long and I always support physical discs over digital
mm,
copy of the game, right? It's you're not owning it, so
yeah,
that's why
sure.
as long as soon as I see a pretty good deal on physical discs games, I just buy it. I don't care if I'm playing it soon or later, but it's good to have a game that you know you will love, and you got it for basically very very cheap compared to the launch. And this is a very good point, right? I saw a thread on Twitter or a website. I don't know. Maybe it was linked to that. So basically, because of the $70 of the price tag for most of the games, the unit sales have been reduced. The number of copies purchased have been reduced, but the revenue is the same for the studio for the publisher.
Yeah,
So compared to 2021, 2022, and 2023 up to now, the number of units is gradually decreasing. For example, let's say 300 million units were sold in 2021, and in 2022 260 million units were sold, something like that. So
mm,
it's basically there is a considerable difference in number of unit sales that have been purchased in 2022, and I think it's basically because of the price increase. Maybe everybody was looking for maybe a sale, or maybe it's gonna be eventually added to the subscription service.
mm,
So the number of unit sales have absolutely decreased, but the revenue is a little slightly better than what it used to be. So it's not lower, it's not same, it's slightly better. So think they what they were achieving for the studios, they got it. So they are not. It's going to be a normalized solution, right? $70 is going to be normal going forward. So the unit sales will increase going forward, but for now they are considerably decreasing from last couple years.
I see. Well, I also wanted to point out about physical collections over digital. Thing is that back in the early days, or at least let's say even in my father's generation and all, he has a bookshelf and plenty of books on them. And
Yes.
that's something he's very proud to show off to everybody. The same thing with physical disc. You have a
Physical disc.
bookshelf, put the discs all over them. Like, oh, see, look at how many games I have.
Look at my collection. You can show it off. You can quantize it. You
Yeah,
can touch it. You can feel it. You can have a unique experience that you're not going to have with the
exactly.
digital. It's absolutely, you can just show that I have the 10 hard disks with full of digital games. It's gonna be the same as the hundreds or thousands of physical discs that you can the art the art that it has on the covers. It's its own experience, man. It's its own unique experience.
Yes,
That's why I
that's
always prefer physical disc if they are available for discount. I'm gonna snag them up.
yeah. And then coming back to the managing backlog situation, I suggest you unsubscribe from any gaming service such as Game Pass or uh, even PlayStation Plus Extra Deluxe and whatnot. You know, keep essential because you'll need to back up your saves to the cloud and whatnot. And even with Xbox, just get Live Gold so you can play multiplayer and save stuff. But other than that, don't subscribe to anything else. Otherwise, games will keep coming and you'll still keep getting them because they're free this time. They're not even discounted, they're
Yes.
free. So your
Free.
backlog is just going to get bigger and bigger. So what you do is every holiday take some time, just shut out the world, sit and finish your games, and only leave when you have to go get food or use the restroom.
We do not
Uh,
suggest it again. A disclaimer. We do not suggest it.
I'm just joking around, man. I mean,
I know,
seriously,
I know, I know. Yeah,
if you do that though, they're
absolutely.
gonna kick you out of the house. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
in the end, the final thing I want to say is managing a backlog is a very very difficult task for a gamer. It
Every
is
gamer has it.
yes,
Yes.
it's if we knew how to manage it,
Not the YouTuber, the completionist. That
yeah,
guy, man, he just completes every single game.
yeah, completionist will complete a game. We'll give a hands off to them, but to other players,
Yes.
yeah, at managing a backlog, if we knew how to manage a backlog, I think we'll all know how to manage life better. But yeah, it's
Yes.
it's an important question. We've given our thoughts about it, and I guess that's our time for this podcast. And thank you for
Absolutely.
joining us. And we hope you have a good weekend. Hope your weekend was good. We hope your coming week will also be good for you. And we'll catch you all in the next podcast on Sunday. This is Abdul and Yashwant signing off.
Thank you, guys.
Take
Bye.
care, guys. Bye then.